some action.
Hey, I'm Larissa. Welcome to Goblins of Discord. This series on personality traps of the Enneagram types is an excerpt from a course I made over a year ago, and I've gotten a lot deeper on this subject. So I will be creating more content moving forward for the YouTube, but also the membership that I just launched, which you can join. And I'll be doing live calls and things of that nature. So there'll be a pathway for people to ask questions about this and how to work with this. And also, if you are like, damn, I'm living my self-fulfilling Enneagram hell prophecy, Larissa, what do I do? I need help right now. Well, you can also book calls with me to do coaching. And you can also get typed if you're like, I don't know, I'm just in hell. I don't know what hell, but I am in hell. You can book a typing call with me. And again, the membership is like the low tier, low financial investment way to also work with me, and you get discount on services. So I hope that you'll check out my brand new shiny little membership. And don't know why I'm doing all these voices, and hope that you enjoy this series and get something from it, or dig deeper into the whole depression since learning your type. Okay. The one everyone wants to be because they don't actually know what it's like to be a 4 or 4 fix. Type 4s, so also known as the individualist, and this is also why people project onto it, because I'm an individual. I'm creative. I'm romantic. No, let's unpack this a little more. Type 4s dread being forced to exist in this mundane reality like a functional, lowly human creature. Literally being functional. Being functional is not what the 4 wants. Like, to be a 4 means to be constantly in a state of like incompetence. They blanch at having their deep, rare emotional experiences related to or misinterpreted and pillaged by the horrid masses. This prevents them from truly sharing their heart outside of a cultivated image, or from enjoying the wider experience needed for true depth and authenticity. This personality trap backs them into a tiny, poorly lit corner and transforms them into the thing they hate in others and fear being the most: boring, one note, and shallow. Type 4s use the vice of envy to amplify and glorify the feeling of being broken, unique, mysterious, dysfunctional, the special exception. Only the dullards are functional. No, not I. Woe is me. My exquisite pain is unimaginable, poetic suffering, and I'm going to make everybody around me know it and have to compensate for it. A lot of 9s think they're 4s because they're like, well, I can lie around and read, and I don't clean my dishes, or I don't like, it's like, no, like when when 4s do this, it's like, it's almost like the mirror image of like the 2 in some ways. It's like the helper, it's like, and the incompetent receiver of the help, and it might not manifest in the sense that they're like lying on a bed and being like, it's it's like their way of life. It's like everything's going to revolve around sort of them and making it good for them, if you will, because they're frustration types too, and frustration types don't hide their annoyance. They don't hide their disdain or the disapproval for what others are doing or their circumstances. They're not happy, and you'll know it. And a 4 is more likely to put on a bit of a production about it, get very emotional about it, than say like a 7 or a 1 might. So this trap tricks the 4's ego into thinking it makes them more abstruse, but it prevents them from having truly meaningful connections, as they're always drilling down and pushing away from relating, being understood, or connecting. They're always self-sabotaging relationships, or whatever their instinct is. Self-sabotage, like self-pres instinct, like, oh, like now my thing's broken. Oh, I'm like, oh, this isn't right. Like, And the sexual instinct, it's like, oh, they don't want me enough. Like, oh, am I not this enough? Am I not like? And it becomes, it's like a like an old Hollywood affair, you know. Um, but they will make an exception sometimes for those rare special exceptions of their choosing. So if you become an object of their affection, where that's in the friend zone or the relationship zone, the sexual zone, um, then they're idealizing you. You're their fantasy, perhaps. Oh, you like, as a frustration type, it's like you're going to be the answer. You're the greener pasture. And then they will project all this wild stuff onto you that you didn't ask for and you can't live up to. And inevitably, the frustration cycle will repeat. It's fun. It's awesome. Dating frustration types is sick. As a frustration and withdrawn reactive type, they can never escape the horrendous itch of others, their environment, their creations, or the world. They don't want to escape it anyway. They get juiced off gazing at their own tragic beauty in the mesmerizing waters of themselves, surrounded by scab doilies and broken trinkets, reminding them of their magnificent misery. Are you starting to get the impression that fours are pretentious? If you know somebody who's incredibly pretentious, it's very likely that they are a four wing three or they have a high four. They may self sabotage opportunities to look outside of their delusions, not realizing like self sabotage opportunities for success, collaboration, being functional in the world, being successful, anything that's like common or that they think is common. So if they're going to be successful, then they're going to have to be doing it on a totally different plane of existence than anybody else is. So they don't realize that their pond has transformed into a muddy pig pen, basically. Like the thing, like the waters that they're gazing at themselves in. Like when a four goes unhealthy, it's like that pond ain't nice looking anymore. It's gross and it smells, and there's like dead frogs in it, and they may also destroy many chances to gain true independence and competency. They may subconsciously believe that they're the special exception, even if they hate themselves. Okay, even if they are doing the self loathing, it's still coming from a place of narcissism and like, I'm separate, I'm special. They want others to cater to them and pick up the slack where they are too self indulgent and above it all, or lost in their muse to bother like dealing with. To the four, their inner world is wondrously deep and an endless source of material, but to others, they appear to be embarrassingly flapping their pale, weak arms around in the cowshits of despair for no apparent reason other than to appear interesting and effete. The four believing themselves to be an incomprehensible mystery and complex creator who understands things more profoundly than others, even if everybody else around them is like, that bitch is fucking shallow. They're unable to zoom out and see the situation for what it is, a parody at best. Because of this tendency, they often fail to actualize or share any of their allegedly poetic, unfathomable creations, which they probably actually haven't even written or finished, which only serves to manifest it only serves to intensify the flailing and despair until their self image has become so fragile that a light wind can knock them over and shatter their melodramatic hubris like cheap lead riddled glass. I'm really like ripping into the fours. But I think it needs to be done. It needs to be done. So, how does a four overcome their personality trap? In order to genuinely become authentic, deep, and significant, which is what they want, the four must reconcile their idealized, illusory inner reality with the cold, hard truth of their often mundane and disappointing outer reality. They must decide if they want to remain in a state of self indulgent, phantasmagorical inertia or risk the daggers of relatability, functionality, connection, mundanity, and actualization that pierce their fragile ego. They will have to risk being similar to other people, basically. Like that's really they'll have to risk finding out that they're not that special. Oh, the horror. I only have it as a fix, and it is literally crisis. It's crisis after crisis. It's easier now because I've done the work. Do the work. It gets easier. It's still there, but it gets a lot easier. The four will need to actively fend off spirals into self sabotage, reactive withdrawnness, and loathing, self loathing, and also other loathing. And each devastating blow every time they are not seen exactly as they desire. Sadly, fours, you are not a special exception, but one amongst billions of other humans sharing this beautifully rotten collective experience. And even though four is a rare type, there's still a lot of you. The four can step into their power and placate their fears by consistently actualizing and sharing their imperfect and possibly relatable creations and letting the chips just fall where they may. They must learn to trust that to feel and integrate true depth, they have to interact with the world and allow their esoteric and highly personal dander to spread away from inside of themselves and to move beyond their inner realms to the world with real people and real problems. True depth and significance is impossible when they are constantly, whether actively or passively, creating dynamics that place them as the exception. Fours may need to get menial jobs, do mundane things, and be part of the oh despair daily grind. And I mean, even if a four had to do that, like they would somehow make it a romantic. It's because I'm so broken that I have to take this job now. Because people don't appreciate my my creative offerings. If fours are willing to leave, at least periodically, the one of a kind antique bird cage that encases their delicate self image and ego, they can get more in touch with their true, open, gracious heart in allowing for happiness, gratitude, and contentment with what they have, who they are, the more mundane aspects of their life and their creations, even if it does not perfectly reflect what they believe to be their inner lives. They will be able to generate a much more unique and insightful view of the world. And it will be actualized, which means they actually will be significant. They actually will leave behind something. They actually will they will be unique in the sense that they actually left a unique mark, because you can't have that witness if you're not actually sharing. That is the pain. That is like the literal pain of the four. But that's okay, because I've got some affirmations for you in a moment.